are here at Triple Six Studios with the band Voices of the Damned, hailing from Cleveland, Ohio. Let's go around the room and introduce yourselves.
JCB, lead vocals, band manager.
I'm Rob Minton, I play drums.
Eric Hendershot, I play bass and backing vocals.
Joey Van Dyne, I play guitar and backing vocals.
I'm Anthony Jones, I play guitar.
And how did you get started with music?
Many years ago, a friend of mine needed a bass player in a band. I went on about $500 worth of bass gear, never playing a note of music in my life. And 35 some years later, I am still playing music. Now I just got rid of the bass and I like to sing and yell at people.
Rob?
About 20 years ago, I was driving along, listening to Metallica's Live Shit, Binge and Purge, and thought, I could do that. Literally pulled over to a music store, bought a pair of sticks and a practice pad, and 10 years later, I'm still doing that.
Eric?
Growing up, I have family members who play guitar, so I wanted to play guitar myself. My fingers are still too big for guitar, so I moved on to bass, and ever since then, been playing bass since the mid-90s in bands.
Joey?
When I was 15 years old, I wanted a bass, actually. And I told my family I wanted a bass, and my cousin got me a guitar. She didn't know the difference between the two. So I didn't want to hurt her feelings, so I just said, fuck it, I'll try to learn something on this. And I put together a few notes that sounded like rock and roll guitar, and it was it. Nothing else mattered after that point.
Nice.
Anthony?
When I was 16 years old, I learned to play guitar. I took lessons, taught myself as well. And then in 2015, me and two of my best friends from school went to a concert to see Behemoth and Cannibal Corpse. Then after that, we were like, hey, want to jam together? So got together at the drummer's house, jammed for a while, and seemed there was a lot of chemistry. And we're like, hey, want to start a band? And I've been playing music ever since.
And how did you develop your sound?
Well, with what everybody just heard, I brought the entities from everybody's aspect of life, and then we formed the band Voice of the Damned.
And Joe, who thought of the name Voices of the Damned, and is there any meaning behind it?
I was driving, and I heard Ronnie James Dio come on the fucking radio. So first, my first name of the band was going to be Voices of the Dead, because you think about the prolific vocalists or musicians that have passed. Ronnie James Dio, Freddie Mercury. But then somebody said there's a band already named Voices of the Dead. So about 15, 20 minutes later, I came up with the name Voices of the Damned. Everyone went, huh. So, meaning-wise, I guess it's just the, we're the voice for people that may be going through problems in their lives. Those that can't, they may be trapped in a situation that they can't speak for, so we kind of speak for them. We use our platform to speak for them, and that's how we became Voice of the Damned.
And Rob, what do you want people to take away from your music?
I have always been a firm believer in, I don't care what music you're listening to, it should make you feel like you're ready to take on the world. And very much like Joe was just saying, realistically, if we can speak for people that can't speak for themselves and, have people take something from that, then that's, to me, personally means the world.
All right. And how would you describe your sound to an average listener?
Everybody thinks because of the genre of music we play or my vocal style, it's automatically death metal. Yes, it is death metal, but it's death metal with a groove. It's death metal with layers. I mean, the musicians that I have behind me put so many different layers and thought into our music. So it's just not your normal death metal. I call it death metal with a groove.
And Joey, who are 3 bands you would like to tour with?
Just 3?
Yeah, just 3.
Okay, well, these guys aren't going to be surprised. My first one's Trivium. They're my favorite band ever right now. I've met them personally too. They're really cool guys. I feel like a tour with them would just be very laid back and fun. And my second choice would be Lamb of God for the same reason. I've never met those guys, but it just seems like they're just laid back and fun, and they just want to play music and just have a good time. Third, fuck it, go big, Iron Maiden, just because they're metal legends and their stage show is just so fantastic, and I feel like every night of a tour, I could be at the side of the stage watching that, learning, and I don't know, like you would never get bored with it.
So let's expand on that if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Anthony, what's 3 bands you would like to tour with?
One of them, the Gojira. I seen those guys live, and their onstage performance is amazing. Another one, the Slipknot. You know, they're big. You know, their onstage performance, show, everything is amazing. Another one, the band was still around, would be Slayer.
Rob?
All the bands that I would have said have been spoken for. Slayer is a big one. Slayer is one of my biggest influences growing up. Lamb of God is another huge one, and Trivium.
Eric?
The same ones. I recently seen Gojira, and that's perfection personified on stage. So I imagine touring with them, I would learn a lot. Another one would be Ginger, great vocalist, but the musicianship behind her is amazing. As for a third, I love the old school hardcore metal, and Anthrax would be a big one for me.
Ooh, that's a fun one. Hey, you guys mentioned a lot. Half you guys, I'd be on stage with them. I would throw 2 bands in, because obviously the Maidens, you know, of course, Lamb of God, everybody knows me, you know, Gojira will be fun, Ginger, but I would throw in Double Driver, because I think the fact that I can hang out with Dez every fucking night would be un-fucking real. And this is going to be, would be, because you mentioned Lamb of God, I'm going to throw King Diamond. If I could open up for King Diamond one time, that's a fucking show. That King, yeah, so, yeah, King Diamond.
And Anthony, how has COVID affected what you do as a band?
COVID has affected what we do as a band by basically the only bad thing would be shows. A lot of venues that used to, before COVID, would have local support for bands coming in, things like that. They have now made it harder for local bands to get on shows because they're like, oh, you know, we don't want
They're trying to earn their
locals,
money back.
you know, because you know they've lost money because shows, so they want just national touring bands for those. But the good thing is that we turn into a positive as a band is we have stuck with our writing and practicing every week, and basically honing our craft.
Very nice, very nice.
And what's your take on the current state of metal?
The current state of metal overall, I think, is the current state of metal, nation-wise, country-wise, is strong as ever. There are bands. I saw a band a couple weeks ago with Eric, Suicide Silence. I've never seen them play before. I was like, holy fuck. I mean, they came out of nowhere and just annihilated people at the show. So I think the current state of metal, it goes through waves. We all know that. It's not popular. It's popular. Bands make a resurgence. New bands come out there and play that everybody's just blown away. So I think the current state of metal overall is pretty damn good. Pretty encouraging for us as a band to be breaking into it, trying to take our music to the next level. So I think the current state of metal is very good.
And
if I
what's...
could expand on that.
Oh,
real
sure.
quick. I think the old guard of metal has really stepped up as of late. I don't know if anybody that's going to watch this has heard, and that's a metalhead, has heard that New Testament album.
That's sick as fuck.
But bands like that, like Testament,
Priest.
the
50
new Maiden
years?
record.
What, Priest 50 fucking years?
Yeah.
Iron Maiden's going on tour in 2022. They are still fucking touring.
Yeah.
Iron Maiden.
And they're killing it. And that's the thing. Like, I'm not knocking the young bands because they're kicking ass too.
Megadeth.
But, yeah, Megadeth. And it just seems like the old guard of metal just really kind of like, all right,
Ushering
young
everything
guys.
along.
Yeah, all right, young guys. This is how you're supposed to do it. Keep doing it. You know, fly that flag and go. So.
And you have to put it, actually, Lamb of God is in that old guard now. They've been around for over 20
Can't
years.
believe that either.
And what's the current music scene like here in Ohio?
It's a tricky question.
Yes.
The music scene in Ohio, because obviously we're from Ohio, so we obviously have to, we're part of the scene. We're doing our job to bring attention to the Ohio music scene. The bad thing about it that I take from that is a lot of national touring bands avoid the Cleveland market. We'll just leave it at that. They avoid coming to the Cleveland market for whatever it may be, because I'll see some of these big bands going to Columbus or Cincinnati or Youngstown or Dayton. Somehow they skip the Cleveland aspect of the Ohio music scene. That's very disheartening to me, because I'm a fan. I'm a fan of music. I like to go see live bands, and if my favorite band is not coming to Cleveland and I have to drive to Columbus to see them, it sucks. So that is disheartening for us as a band. But what we as a band can take from that, we are trying to put a stamp on Cleveland metal and Cleveland music. We just played a show Black Saturday with another band that wants to put a stamp on the Cleveland music scene. So if we get a couple bands that really can bring attention to Cleveland, then I feel overall we can make the state of metal in Cleveland much better.
Actually, I'd like to speculate on that. I've been in the scene since the mid-90s. I remember way back in the day, the camaraderie between the bands was great. It's kind of gone away a little bit, but I know with us and some of the bands we played with, we're trying to bring that camaraderie back.
Yep.
Yeah. The biggest thing is get all the bands working together, become a family again. That would be the best thing in the world for the scene.
And then you eliminate the ones that don't want to.
Yeah, exactly.
You eliminate, you don't do shows or whatever. So yes.
Okay. And what's your take on the royalties that streaming services pay out to artists?
Double-edged sword.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's good for us, because we, as a band, with our new EP, Awakening the Beast, it's on the streaming platforms.
Yeah.
We are on all of them. Pandora, Spotify, Amazon, Apple. We're on all the streaming, I feel it's just, the more we play out, expanding on what Anthony said with what happened with COVID, we play live shows, we actually make royalty in our own music playing our shows live. Long as a venue or a club is registered, we submit our music, the songs we play that night, we do get kickback on our own music. It's not a lot, but they are the ones doing the work with the platform. We just submit the music. So the more views we get, the more hits we get, the more plays it, then we get a little bit back in our pockets. For us, it's not about the money.
Right.
If it was about the money, we'd have been gone years ago.
Right.
We had all been doing something else, because the amount of money that we have invested in equipment, merchandise, van to get to shows, all the shit that people don't see behind the scenes that, well, it has to come from somewhere. We're here for the love of music. We like getting together as a band. Do we all get along all the time? Absolutely fucking not. Absolutely fucking not. But at the end of the day, we know what the fuck we have here. And together, you guys saw it. You asked the question at the beginning of this interview.
Yes.
How did you get into music? What did you, all that shit. We came together. It's magical.
And
It's magical.
I guess a good way to sum it up too is without the artists, the streaming services don't exist. Without the streaming services, the artists are still here. And
Valid.
that's not a knock at them, because they do a great service, but
Show up and play fucking music.
Yeah, yeah.
At the end of the day, show up and play fucking music.
True.
Bottom line.
If we really wanted to be out there purely for the money, we'd be doing covers. We wouldn't be doing
Yeah.
our own original music that we love because we love writing original.
We spent the last 3 hours before this fucking interview on one goddamn song. I thought Anthony was going to kill somebody because he goes, if you guys don't get this shit done, I'm going to get food and I'll come back later.
And he doesn't drive.
And so it's like he's going to have to call Uber. Uber's
Right.
going to have to bring him some fucking food so he doesn't kill him. But we spent 3 hours writing a song and we're not done with it yet. Because we knew we had to do this interview to get it to our people. And, you know, so yes.
It's going to be epic.
Yes. So I guess we skirted around it, but play music. Show up and fucking play music.
That's good. And what's next for Voices of the Damned?
Food.
Food.
Outside of
That's
that,
great.
because before we get food, we have a lot more music to play tonight. So sorry to disappoint. What's next for Voice of the Damned? Well, this year was a COVID bounce back for us. This year, we released our debut EP, "Awaken the Beast," which is available on all the streaming platforms. It is available at all shows. 2022, January 29th, we are playing round 1 Battle for Wacken in Akron. So that's what's going to start our year off for what's next for us as a band. We are in the process, like I touched earlier, writing a full-length album from Voice of the Damned. So right now, that is what is on our horizon. That's what we have our sights on. Battle for Wacken and a full-length album from the band.
Yeah, sounds good. And any shout outs that you guys want to do for anybody out there?
I'm sure everybody in the band wants to do some personal shout-outs. I want to thank, first and foremost, the Damned family. Without them coming to our shows, we are nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'd like to thank our merch girl, Betty, and Michelle, who helps at every fucking show. If it's not selling merchandise, it's hauling equipment, doing whatever the fuck they can to make us look good. Eric and the Empire Nightclub, one of the best fucking venues I've ever played. I've toured the United States. I've been in a lot of venues. What they do there is something that every band that comes to Ohio has to take the opportunity to play. I have Amy at Cater Printing that does all our screen printing. I got Penny who does all our custom embroidery for our shirts and our beanies. Obviously my wife, Kimberly, who lets me live out my fucking dream every fucking day so I can show up and do what I love. And my last shout out be for these motherfuckers right here behind me. I'm not easy to work with, and everybody here can attest that, but they let me do what the fuck I do every day, every time we get on the stage. Who wants to take their shout out next? I'll keep talking because you motherfuckers know I'll keep talking. And it's hard to follow what they're all going. So Rob, since you're sitting right here.
Aside from the ones that I'm sure everybody else will bring up, for me it's all very personal. I have a young son, and if not for his mom, we're not together and haven't been for a while, but she's been glorious in helping me with scheduling with him and everything else and giving me the opportunity to play music, which if not for that, I would literally just sit at home and be bored out of my mind.
That's great.
Next, definitely want to thank my father for supporting me. Also a big shout out to my stepmother, who unfortunately is going to be leaving this mortal coil planet in the next couple months. And a lot of friends and family I want to thank.
A lot of my shout outs were Joe's shout outs. But seriously, Betty, she deserves another shout out. Michelle, she deserves another shout out. Everybody that does the merch, I don't know all their names. You all deserve a shout out. Yeah, Sarah, our photographer. I mean,
Yes.
there's so many things.
Yeah,
Joe
yeah.
touched on earlier. Behind the scenes, people see us step on stage and that's it.
Ian Sweetwater.
And there's just
Yeah,
Yeah.
fuck Ian from Sweetwater.
Ian from Sweetwater.
We spent a lot of money with him. He probably gets a really big commission check at the end of the year. So we can't
Probably.
forget. We can't
But-
forget Ian.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, too, I have to thank my wife because there's so many people in the world that would not let their significant other do what we do.
There are so many Yoko owners of the fucking
Yes,
world that
yes.
would fuck up a band. They
Yeah.
would literally come in, destroy a band, and not let a band do what they do. She personally, hands down, destroyed the fucking Beatles. So,
Yes.
So on that note, yes.
Yeah, I mean, she lets me do what I do, and she does. She literally stepped out of my way. She says, "All right, you gotta go do this. You gotta go play show. Go play."
And she has your balls in first anyway.
Yeah, that.
And
I give a shout out to my parents for being very supportive of what I do. My girlfriend for being very supportive and allowing me to do.
Who has yet to come to one of our shows?
Karen Murphy of Custom Audio Mutation.
forgot about-
He
yep.
does amazing work on
Yes,
guitars.
Yeah,
On
without
our guitars.
without him,
The
our
bass.
this would be broken.
You know, and just a lot of, friends and family.
and our promoters. I mean, Will down in Cincinnati from Transplant Productions. I mean, he is our. We just made a nice connection with Dread Engine in Columbus, so now we got another angle. There's so many. Literally, I think our shout outs will be just as long, if not longer, than this actual interview, because there's obviously people we're going to forget. And I'm going to be driving home tonight when we're done, going, fuck, I forgot to say thank you to this. I mean, so
All
there's
the bands we played with.
yeah, I mean, we'd be here for hours just throwing shout outs, but you guys get what we as a band are trying to say. Without the people that support us, without the people behind the scenes, without the people that come to the shows, without the people that run the venues. I mean, again, expanding what Anthony said with COVID, all these fucking venues during
Two shows in
COVID
2020.
closed down. Literally closed down and never reopened. There was a great campaign called Save Music Venues. You go on their website, you buy shit, it goes to the clubs. All right, so guys, we would be here forever. Michelle, our interviewer, wants to go home. She goes, you guys need to shut the fuck up already. So,
We wanna eat.
but the shout, again, we as a band apologize if we didn't thank everybody. But at the end of the day, our families, our friends, and the fucking fans, the damned family that shows up to support us, that is our final shout out.